Welcome into One-on-One. Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier. A great show ahead for you, talking about Oklahoma State basketball, the NBA, go over the NFL, the Raiders, second in the AFC West after Thursday night win over the Chargers, and a lot of good games going on in the league this weekend. And the bullpen will be making their return to talk about the off-season moves, winter meetings, just 30 days away. I know Jason's excited about that. So they'll be in here to talk about some baseball in the third segment and college football in the last segment. The Pokes are off, which means they cannot lose, which is positive news, but it is the game. You know, the last one, 2011, was dubbed the game of the century. This seems like the game of the century in Tuscaloosa this weekend. So we'll start with the Oklahoma State Cowboys getting an 80-75 win on Wednesday night over Oral Roberts.
I believe our producer Levi earned a couple bucks.
Well, that's what happens when somebody bets on ORU.
Right?
You would think. So, but it was close. The Cowboys had a big lead at one point. It was within one towards the end of the game. So it was a little
dicey.
Nerve-wracking there for a moment. But there is no way that I think if they played in a month, this would be the score. But Oklahoma State obviously a little rusty on night one. What worried you most about that performance?
The bench. As you'd expect with a bunch of young guys coming off the bench, you worry about nerves, lack of experience, because ORU basically brought on 5 seniors off the bench. So you take guys that have played 4 years against guys that have played one exhibition game against Rogers State last Friday. You're going to expect something.
Am I wrong to say that they probably saw more talent on AAU circuits?
No, you're not. No, probably not. Especially Rasink, him playing pro ball, he's definitely seen better. But being in, first real home game in GIA, that's a big deal, especially when you're, like the Boone twins from this state. You've watched Oklahoma State basketball for quite some time. You've maybe dreamed about playing in that arena for a very long time, and then it suddenly happens in a real game. You're going to have some nerves. Now, you only get 16 points from the bench, but you still win by 5. And I didn't get to watch a lot of the game because you and I were working on an assignment that is due in a couple of hours, but we've already got it done. We're ahead of our work. We're good students like that. But I feel like it just had to be nerves because these guys are really talented. Like you said, in a month, this is not a 5-point game.
I think what concerns me most is to the point you're making, but I'll go the other way with it, and it's with the seniors. What concerns me is it's your last first game.
Yeah.
And you beat ORU by 5. At the end of the day, you win. But for me, it's just I feel like the fan base is a little with the commitment of Cade Cunningham, the possible commitment of Bryce Thompson to get Rondell Walker last week. I feel like people just expect that they're already in uniform and that they're going to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And what drives me crazy most about, quite frankly, the fan base is they generate the most ridiculous hype I've ever seen.
All the time.
And then never back it up.
All the time.
You want to be crowned the greatest student section. Well, it's not about doing it because Bryce Thompson's there on a Wednesday. It's about doing it every game.
Yeah.
And the student section is better in basketball. Of course, you don't need as many students to fill up that student section. It's an embarrassment in football-wise. I mean, they all leave at halftime, or they're up a 7-point game in the Big 12 last week, and it was empty halfway through. But they care every week, right?
Absolutely.
That for me is the fan base. Sure, you want to go out and you want to try and basically recruit too, but do it every week. You got to be there every game.
Right.
And that's for the fan base as well, too. But filling out 13,000 seats on a Tuesday night that's quite the task in Stillwater.
Especially when it's ORU. It's different if Texas Tech is coming to town, but ORU's a little different. I just noticed this, Reed. I'm looking at the box score from the game. They have did you know, obviously in football you can have athlete as a position. Mm-hmm. Did you know you could do that in basketball?
I did not.
Avery Anderson is athlete. Plays athlete for Oklahoma State.
That's going to be my position from now on out. Just athlete.
High-level athlete.
No, but I'm going to take it a step further. I'm a power athlete.
Ooh, I like it.
Power athlete. That's my PA. It's my new position. But, yeah, I mean, it's game one. Isaac Likely's still good. I think he's
Isaac Likely was incredible, and you're in a blocks.
Block party. I think that obviously yours going to have to be the guy on defense, that anchor, and Isaac's going to have to be the one that keeps the engine flowing on this offense.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to do that. And I was impressed with how I did get to see the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game before we had to go start filming some other stuff. Lindy Waters hit 2 threes at the beginning of the game. I think both of them were NBA range. Like he looked incredible going off the dribble, and he can make plays for others as well. So I'm with you kind of. Isaac has to be the guy that runs the offense the majority of the time. But if he needs a break, I think you can go to Lindy. I think he's developed enough ball handling and passing ability to be able to make plays for other guys. Now, he did have 6 turnovers, so maybe he was trying to force a little bit too much in that game, and that cost him ultimately. But I still think he can be that backup kind of point guard.
Well, they're going to need it because, I mean, they've got some non-cons. Syracuse, obviously, Georgetown coming to Stillwater. I mean, they've got some big games ahead relatively soon, including UMKC this weekend. Be sure to get out to Gallagher-Iba and support the Cowboys on Saturday. So, in the NBA, we're going to get to Kawhi Leonard, but I just want to ask you, are you going to buy a Greece national team jersey now? Rick Pitino, the new head coach of the Greece national team, you could get a Giannis jersey. I mean,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, how can Rick Pitino have some kind of violation with Kawhi Leonard?
I would just love to see what kind
of... Or not with Kawhi, I'm sorry, with Giannis.
I want to know what kind of suit Rick Pitino is going to wear for the Olympics if they make it. I mean, he's going to be a fly
It'll be interesting.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Greece, with Giannis, actually, they've got potential to become a powerhouse in the world as far when it comes to national games like that. Now, no one can beat the U.S. if the U.S. truly cares, but that seems to be something that the country's struggling with. But I don't know how you hire Rick Pitino to do anything. It's not a shot at Greece.
You can't tell me that he doesn't fit, though. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and he fits, and it's the same thing that if it were
if you were coaching the Italian team or the Greece, like that just fits.
Yeah, and if the roles were reversed, I don't think that people in Greece are in tune with Louisville in the NCAA investigations.
I don't think so.
But Rick Pitino back in the
Making
coaching
moves,
game,
baby.
All right, Kawhi Leonard. He is Is he your favorite player? I mean, you probably have more respect for him. You admire him, I think, in the way he plays the game more than just about anyone else.
Yeah, I definitely was one of the biggest defenders of him that year he sat out in San Antonio. But he probably is. He's up there. I might say Kevin Durant's probably my favorite player to watch instead of him, but this year, Kawhi Leonard's up there.
Well, Kawhi Leonard's never made an embarrassing movie like
Thunderstruck.
So he's got that one. But Kawhi Leonard is, sitting out a lot for load management. The Clippers were fined $50,000, or Doc Rivers said something, and then the Clippers were fined for misinformation on his injury. James Harden today said, well, have you ever seen me sit out for load management? So here's what I have to say to James Harden. I would take 30 games of Kawhi Leonard before I would take 82 from you. You know why? Because he's a champion, and he's the reason his teams are champions. He is something that James Harden will never be. The best player in the world and a world champion. So I don't care if you don't take off for load management. I don't care how many threes you make. But Kawhi Leonard compared to James Harden, yeah, I'm taking Kawhi Leonard
James
all
Harden
day.
should probably... Well, actually, no, because I'll get into that in a second. But, he would think maybe he should take some time off because he always gets gassed in the second round of the playoffs because he's taken 47,000 dribbles by the end of the year. But I do kind of actually have a problem with the load management stuff.
Why? Because of the way they coin it or the fact that he's sitting out?
I have a problem with it being on national TV games. I don't care if you do it at a home game that's on, the Clipper Network.
Regional, yeah.
Yeah, but I do kind of have a problem when it's on ESPN, NBA TV, and stuff like that. Just because, especially with Paul George out right now, there's only one draw for Clippers basketball, and it's Kawhi Leonard. And secondly, the main point of load management is supposed to be save yourself for the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. It worked last year. The Raptors won the championship, and they did the load management thing. But Kawhi Leonard was hurt in the playoffs. Those last 2 series, and even at the end of the Philadelphia series, he's hobbling around. Like, that was part of the narrative about how good he was despite being hurt. Like, the science isn't concrete that sitting out these games is going to work. If it makes you feel better, go for it. But don't say that you're doing it because science says this is the best way to win a championship by saving yourself for the playoffs. And if you're going to do it, don't do it on national televised games. Don't do it on the games where everybody is anticipating you versus Damian Lillard, or you versus Giannis, or you versus LeBron. Like, just don't do it. Like, pick and choose the games that just don't really matter. No offense, but like, if you're going to like skip the Magic, skip playing the Orlando Magic, skip playing the Hornets, skip playing, I can't even say the Suns right now because they're actually good, but skip the bottom teams, skip the teams that you see all the time that suck, and try not to skip road games either, because especially if you're playing an East Coast team, they only see you once a year. Some kid spends a bunch of money, or some kid's parents, I should say, spend a bunch of money to go see Kawhi Leonard play. They only get this one chance to go see Kawhi Leonard play.
Yeah, Charlotte. They're in Charlotte.
Yeah.
You want to see Kawhi. Right.
And he's gone. And, that's a double hit in Charlotte because you don't even have anybody. You got to go watch Terry Rozier instead. You should get a refund for that.
Yeah, the main attraction is seeing Michael Jordan at the games.
Yeah. So I do have a little bit of a problem with the way they legitimize the rest and the games that they're resting him on. But if it's what he does and if that's how he feels to get prepared for the playoffs, then go for it.
I agree with you on that point. But with that being said, if you say that to Kawhi Leonard, Steve Ballmer, and Doc Rivers, they're going to go, I couldn't give a crap less
absolutely.
about that kid. And
Yeah.
I think that's what, whether that's fair or not, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, and I agree with you. But from their perspective, they don't care what people think. They don't care, because I think that the Clippers are in legitimate contention to win a world championship.
Yeah.
Because if if they make the Western Conference Finals, they're not going to be on the road. They're going to be playing at home all seven games. I mean, they'll be playing the Lakers.
Yep.
And if Paul George and Kawhi are healthy, that's going to be a fantastic series, but I'll take the Clippers to win it.
Yeah.
So if it means now that I'm not going to see Kawhi Leonard 15 times,
Yeah.
and that's what has to happen for me to see him in that moment, I'm fine with it.
And I want to make this point too. I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying Kawhi Leonard doesn't want to play
Right.
in big games.
But I think he knows that.
Yeah. I just wish they sit him on back-to-backs. If they know that the second game on the back-to-back is on ESPN, just sit him the first game. Like,
And with the NBA, that hurts the NBA
Yes.
too. Like that they're Adam Silver's not going to like that. But with all of that being said, this is 3 weeks into the season,
yeah.
and this has been the storyline. So
Yeah, and it's going to continue, and like it is what it is, but they have to do a better job of getting a point across that it's okay to rest these games. Just don't do it on the big stage where, people pay us a bunch of money to have the games.
Right. Well, it's going to continue to be a storyline in the NBA. We're going to take a quick break, come back, talk about what happened on Thursday Night Football and the biggest games going on in the National Football League this weekend. Right back on One-on-One right after this. Welcome back into one-on-one. Reed Spencer, Logan Mosier.
Was that the first or second time he threw it to that guy?
Well, it wasn't the last. Phillip Rivers on that drive was the ugliest drive I've ever seen. He's the only guy to ever go 0 for 7 down by a score in a game-winning situation. The only guy to ever go 0 for 7. He sucks.
He does. He's not good.
I shouldn't say Phillip Rivers sucks. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's a fringe
He's
Hall
above
of Famer.
average.
But last night, that final drive was atrocious. They could not protect him. It was an embarrassment to what I mean, it was a joke. It was bad. Bad. The Raiders improved to 5-4 with a 26-24 win over the Chargers. So here's the question on these two teams. Are the Raiders for real, and are the Chargers just done? Which the questions would have been flipped. Half the game would have gone the other way.
Yeah. I thought the Chargers were about to be that team that had a terrible start and then, somehow makes the playoffs, especially in the AFC this year. But now I kind of have to think that might be the Raiders. And I hate to say that because I thought the Raiders were going to be terrible. I thought John Gruden was going to be the laughingstock of the league again. But somehow they're 5-4.
So they beaten the Broncos. Are the Broncos good?
No.
They did beat the Colts. Colts are a good team. They beat them by a touchdown.
The Bears are not good.
Bears are not good. Packers good, lost to them. Texans good, lost to them. Lions 3-4-1.
Yeah, the Lions are the Lions.
And they won that by a touchdown. The Chargers aren't very good. They're 26-4. They've got the Bengals and Jets ahead of them.
That's 2 wins.
So they are going to be 7-4 in 2 weeks. Then they go to Kansas City.
That's an L.
Titans win.
Yeah.
Jags win. Then they have to go to L.A. to take the Chargers and the Broncos. This is a really easy schedule. They might seriously win out.
Yeah.
Like, they might win out.
I don't think they'll win that Chiefs game.
No, but but if they finish, that's an 11-5 football team.
I know.
And they could have had Antonio Brown.
I was just thinking that. I was wondering where would they be with Antonio Brown. I think they'd be either the same or worse.
Derek Carr's insufferable, by the way. He is. It's hard to watch him. It is hard to watch.
At least he didn't cry.
It's cringeworthy.
Yeah.
How he acts. Like, what I love about the Raiders is the Black Hole is a fun environment, but they're like pumping up the crowd and they're leaving. It's like they're leaving you. They have signed the divorce papers. They're just waiting. There's a for sale sign in the house. They're just waiting for somebody to buy it. This is a divorce.
Yeah.
And he's pumping up. It's like, for what? This is all false. Like, this is fake. They're leaving you. No one cares.
He also
They're
looks like he
leaving.
wears eyeshadow.
I think he does.
I have not been convinced that he does not.
Well, I guess next time he cries, we'll see it running, right?
Yeah,
So,
that'll be the test.
well, I mean, they're a lot
They're
better.
going to be the worst 11-win football team I've ever seen, probably.
Oh, they'll get smoked in the playoffs.
I know.
They'll get smoked in the playoffs.
But the fact that they're going to make the playoffs is insane.
there's a lot of bad teams in the NFL.
Especially in the AFC.
Like, there's a lot of bad teams out there.
Yeah, there really are.
So, I mean, there's some good games. There's also some awful games, which I want to spend just as much time on as I do the bad games. And I'll start with a really bad game. It's the Battle of New Jersey. They both were NY, but they play in New Jersey, so it's a Battle of New Jersey. The 2-7 Giants versus the 1-7 Jets.
Woo! Daniel Jones versus
That's a
Sam
combined 3-14.
Wow.
You know where one of those wins comes from in the 3-14?
The Dallas
Dallas
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
The Giants are favored by 3. Now, you probably want the Giants to win because if the Jets win, Darren Rovell is going to be the naked cowboy, that wears nothing but the tidy whities and the boots and the hat. Yeah, that's the bet that he had. So that if the Giants don't win, so there's a lot on the line for people here.
I'm sorry, Jason, but I gotta go against the Jets. Oh my God.
I think the football gods go against the Jets quite
I'm gonna
often.
have to unfollow him on Twitter.
By the way, that black cat that got loose just lives in MetLife. They still haven't caught it.
That makes a lot of sense. MetLife strikes me as a place that has stray cats and other sorts of things living in there.
And Adam Gase. There's nothing more than I want more this weekend than for this game to end in a tie. There is nothing better. there is no better content out there than some of the worst teams in football playing to a tie. And I hope it's a 3-3 tie.
It'd be like the Cardinals-Lions game from the
Oh, yeah. You remember
week
that
one.
game? I can't remember who Virginia Tech was playing. It might have been Wake Forest. Barrett will remember this.
Yeah.
Where it's like 0-0 going to halftime, and Frank Beamer's just like, yes, that's what I want this weekend. I want Sam Darnold to raise his hands when they kick a field goal to
tie,
not lose,
to
but to
tie.
tie in overtime. That's the type of content the National Football League needs.
Yeah.
This is going to be so bad.
Who do you think's going to win?
The Giants will beat the crap out of the Jets.
You think so?
Yeah. Saquon Barkley is going to
Oh,
run
that's-
all
yeah.
over them. And Daniel Jones is not terrible against bad teams. I mean, he's not good against good teams, but they're not good. They're bad. They're real
Yeah,
bad.
They are, unfortunately. But
The over-under is 44.5.
that might be too high.
12 would have been high. I say that. They're not good defenses, so.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that the Giants fundamentally have better chance to succeed in this game, with Daniel Jones if they can protect him and getting it to Golden Tate and guys like Saquon Barkley. It's going to be a sloppy game, but I'll take the Giants to win.
I don't know what Jason wants more, for the Jets to win or for them to lose, because at this point they're in position for a good pick. And they are not good. But I think he
Yeah.
really wants to beat the Giants, so I'm going to go with the Jets. I think Sam Darnold's going to have a bounce-back game against a subpar Giants defense. Le'Veon Bell is going to not fully return to Le'Veon Bell, but he'll have a good game. I want the Jets to win.
On the heels of Cam Newton getting placed on IR, and Kyle Allen is going to start the rest of the year. The Panthers 5-3, not terrible, but going up to Lambeau to take on a 7-2 Packers team, that was an embarrassing team last week. They went to LA, lost. I don't know how they did, but is this something that the Panthers can they go into Lambeau and win?
No.
I don't think.
I think the
either.
Packers defense plays a lot better at home. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Saw a comparison for Kyle Allen was Dak Prescott.
Well, that's offensive.
Yeah. But to who?
I mean, he's never lost a playoff game.
Okay, there you go.
Sabermetrics. Undefeated in the playoffs is Kyle Allen.
But I think Green Bay is going to have a problem stopping Christian McCaffrey. I just don't think Kyle Allen can do anything. Give me Green Bay.
Everyone has problems stopping Christian McCaffrey.
I know, exactly.
Is he your MVP favorite?
He's up there. It's either him or Russell Wilson. But I think the Seahawks are about to lose a lot of games. So I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if any of those two won. I don't want to hear this Lamar Jackson stuff anymore, though.
MVP, which ironic, they booed him less than a year ago in the playoffs, and
Yeah.
now they're chanting MVP. Rams at Steelers.
This is up there with the Jets, Giants. It's like the next tier of bad.
So 5-3 Rams at the 4-4 Steelers. You're not in on this game.
I don't think I'm going to watch a lot of this game. I'm going to be honest. Mason Rudolph is going to throw the ball 4 yards down the field every snap, or they'll do some crazy Wildcat stuff and he won't even touch the ball. And the Rams they're boring. Like, they're not fun anymore. They don't score 40 points anymore. Cooper Kupp's had an amazing year, but Todd Gurley's not the same. Brandon Cooks is out. And Jared Goff, I don't know. Is he the new Dak Prescott? Is he the Dak Prescott for the LA Rams?
Probably. But they paid him.
They paid him a lot.
They paid him a lot. Yeah, the Rams they're in a tough position now. They're the third best team in their division a year after going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And their defense has never quite gotten on the right page, even with Aaron Donald.
And Jalen Ramsey now.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be an interesting game, and I'm with you. I think the Rams win it, but it's going to be kind of a sloppy game back and forth. AT&T Sunday Night Football, AT&T Stadium. The Minnesota Vikings will be without Adam Thielen.
They lost already.
Default an L to the Cowboys.
I seriously don't think they can beat decent teams without Adam Thielen. I think he's that important. Kirk Cousins, especially in primetime, we all know the primetime stat for Kirk Cousins. That's like
bad.
Yeah, and it's along the. They say that stat almost as much as Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard. Donovan Mitchell's dad would play professional baseball. It's one of those we get it. Everyone knows. Shut up. But
do you know Mahomes once threw a no-look pass?
Oh my gosh, are you serious, dude?
Yeah, and his dad played in Major League Baseball too.
Holy crap.
I know. It's insane.
Stuff's wild, man. But no, the Vikings lost. They can't play at home without Adam Thielen.
Well, I mean, going to Dallas, I don't know. It's like, what Dallas team do you get? Do you get the Dallas team? Because if Dallas didn't play well enough to win Monday night, but they played the Giants, and the Giants lost the game on their own. Like, there's nothing the Cowboys did. The Giants just aren't very good. So Mike Zimmer, I'm going to give the Vikings the edge here. And I hope Chris is watching because this is one of the few times.
I was about to say he better catch this because you don't say very nice things about his teams very often.
No, I'm just gonna take the Vikings. Dallas favored by 3. I think the Vikings win and win by 10.
Ugh, I don't know.
Stephon Diggs and Dalvin Cook are gonna have to have really big days if they're going to, and slow down Amari Cooper and Zeke. So, if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Mike Zimmer. Mahomes is starting. Thank you.
Finally.
Thank you. He's starting after 2 weeks out. Been 24 days since the injury today.
Have those been the worst 24 days of your life?
Well, I did spend up to. Let's see, I was 20 when they got Mahomes, so the 20 years before that were pretty rough.
Okay.
It was all right with Alex Smith, but I'll never forget that as a Chiefs fan, I once watched Tyler Palko, who was cut by the California Redwoods, which is an Arena League football team, start on Sunday Night Football against the Steelers, and played well enough to win, but they lost because Dwayne Bowe didn't put his hands up because he's afraid of taking a shot to the ribs. I've lived through that. So these 24 days have been bad.
You also lived through a playoff game where
Careful what you're about to say, because there's a lot of different avenues you could go here. Are we going D Ford, or are we going when Andrew Luck came back from 28 down? You got another one. Fantastic.
yeah, Tyrod Taylor threw himself a touchdown.
Marcus Mariota.
Or sorry, yeah, one of the bad quarterbacks.
Well, you know what? I hope that the Chiefs watch that on replay. He's going to be on the bench. He may play a little bit, actually, with Ryan Tannehill. He may be an athlete out there this weekend. But, yeah, that was pretty bad. And that was when they were up 21.5, and I turned the game off because I knew.
But the point is, those times are gone. Everything's better.
The last playoff game was still D Ford.
Yeah, but that was... I don't know. That's not as bad as letting Marcus Mariota throw himself a touchdown and blowing a 21-point lead.
It's bad, but they picked off the greatest quarterback of all time to go to their first Super Bowl in 60 years.
Yeah, and that
I'm gonna get emotional on camera here if we continue down this road.
We'll move past this.
Oh, all right. We're gonna take a quick break. Come back. We're not going to come back. We will next segment. But Jason and Barrett coming on for their bullpen segment, making a call. Nolan Ryan out in Houston. What are the Astros going to do to replace him? There's a lot going on here in the baseball offseason. Steven Strasburg is coming back. I don't know. The guys will break all that down for you more right back on One-on-One right after this.
to the bullpen segment. Howie Kendrick hitting the World Series winning home run. We talked about that before. Amazing. Still can't get over it. I'm actually wearing a Stanley Cup shirt, but, District of Champions. And whatnot. So, we got a lot going on. We got, collusion. We got winter meetings. But first, they thought they could get rid of us, but we're back.
I had to fight Reed to get us back on. It was a cage match. It was brutal.
There's actually a good amount of baseball news. We got Nolan Ryan. He's gone. He's done from the
Dunzo.
Astros.
He does not want anything to do with the Astros anymore, it sounds like.
I don't want to say no one wants to. Garrett Cole also wants nothing to do with the Astros. It feels like the Astros, they're still going to be good. They still have a lot of talent, but Nolan Ryan, Garrett Cole, the assistant GM, losing every home game in the World Series. It's not a good time to be an Astro.
It is not.
Right now, Houston's kind of. What do you? What's your take on this?
Let's get the full story. So, first of all, the owner, Jim Crane, he demoted Reed Ryan, Nolan Ryan's son, as the president, and then he put his own son, Jared Crane. He is now the new president of the Houston Astros, and I don't know if that was. It probably was one of the reasons why Nolan Ryan doesn't want to be an executive advisor for the team anymore. But you also have to think about the Taubman situation where he was screaming at the female reporters about Osuna. But this is a quote from a Houston reporter that he actually got a text from Nolan Ryan. He said, "I will not be back with the club and will leave it at that." End quote.
Simple, straight to the point.
Simple, straight to the point. It kind of throws a little more gasoline onto the fire, it sounds like.
I mean, I don't think it's a scenario in which he didn't necessarily enjoy working there. Mm-hmm. I think it was more just like very sudden. Maybe a few things just, happened, and he was like, all right, this is ridiculous. I'm out. More than like progressive over time where he's like, man, this place sucks type thing. But
kicking my son out as the president and putting your own son in there.
That's
where I draw the line.
That's a little much. I think if he had demoted him and then been like, I just think this guy's better for the job. But if
it's his own son.
I mean, what's your explanation for that? My son's better than you at this? It's like, well...
Well, first of all, bucko.
Probably not.
Nolan Ryan's son got him a ring.
Yeah.
He got the city a championship.
Yeah, and he... helped.
Jared Crane, I keep looking down at his... I've never heard of this kid before. I don't think he was even, an executive for the team.
I haven't heard of him either.
Just putting this little, putting my son in there action. It's like when your dad gets you a job. Well, it's exactly what
what's happening.
Like when you get out of high school and your dad's like, "Hey, I got you a job." Yeah. And it's like, "All right."
Thanks, Dad.
Go work at the local grass cutter that he owns.
So yeah, I think people are saying might go to the Texas Rangers. I know there's a lot of Rangers fans around here.
They love him in Texas.
Yeah, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Guy's a legend. I think he would fit well there. I think that'd be a good...
I think he would fit well anywhere, really.
Yeah, but...
Maybe he probably doesn't like up north too much.
Probably not.
Yankees, Red Sox.
Yeah. He's going to the Phillies.
Might as well. I mean, hey.
No, I think the Texas Rangers would be a good fit for him. I think, he played there. It just seems like they could use some help, and I think...
Oh, they could use some help. Definitely on the pitching, that's for sure. Mucho helpo. Because the pitching on the Rangers is not too good.
No.
I don't even think Nolan Ryan could fix that.
He could definitely help.
Maybe some free agents will be like, hey, I want to get taught by Nolan Ryan. Yeah. I want to throw 101 miles an hour for 20 years.
It would be, it's I don't want to say baseball's better than the Rangers are better because that's just
not.
It's just not true. But it's it's nice to see a team come from really bad back from the depths of
the Texas Rangers are just the little brothers of the St. Louis Cardinals at this point. No one will ever forget 2011. It's not happening. I will not let people forget.
Who was the Rangers manager in 2011 and 2012?
Oh,
I forget his name.
I wish Robin was here.
But I loved that guy. He was awesome. I was sad that he didn't win a championship, but
let's move.
Let's move.
We're going from Minute Maid Park. That's 6-7 hours, maybe away, to SunTrust Park. That's way farther away than
much further
than there.
Away. One of my favorite things ever. Collusion.
That's a big.
We love collusion.
That's a big word in sports these days.
Bullpen segment.
We always collude.
Big collusion, guys.
We had to use collusion to get on the show.
We did. Alex Anthopoulos. Is that even
what a name?
Yeah,
I believe it's Anthopoulos. I don't know, but
Anthopoulos,
you can call him whatever he wants because he's under fire.
He
and
is.
that flack is coming from the MLB Players Association.
Yeah, because he was
not smart.
He was doing things that are illegal in the MLB world.
He did have a comment that I didn't get to read fully. I'll probably get to it a little later, but this was what he said. He said, "Every day you get more information, and we've had time to connect with 27 of the clubs. Obviously, the Astros and Nationals being in the World Series, they were tied up. But we had a chance to get a sense of what the other clubs are going to look to do in free agency and who might be available in trades." It's a little colludey.
A little, very much colluding.
Very much colluding.
I think, personally, like I've never really thought that collusion was like the worst thing.
I don't think it is. But
I think the issue is that with teams like the Nationals and the Astros in the World Series, like when teams are still in the playoffs, I think it's kind of puts them at an unfair advantage for being better because they don't have the opportunity. They're not focused on any of that. They're focused on winning. And so when other teams, just because you get bounced, 10, whatever it was, 10-1 or whatever in Game 5, doesn't mean that you should be able to talk to players and teams before everyone else.
I don't think he's talking to the players.
Yeah,
I think he's talking to the GMs.
But,
GMs like to talk.
But, it kind of puts other teams, the teams that are better, at a disadvantage for the offseason because they're still playing. Other teams are like, all right, yeah, let's focus on this trade because, this player's going to be available. This player's going to be available. When the Nationals, they still have to focus on Strasburg and Rendon, and they're just focused on winning. They're not even bothered with what everyone else is talking about, what they might want to bring in, who they might want to trade for. So I understand why it's a problem when the World Series is going on, but if everyone's, if this regular season is going on or everyone's done, then it makes more sense. I just think that's one of the worst possible times you could do it. And he basically admitted to doing it.
Yeah,
so.
Well, Tony Clark, the union chief, was more upset about what the Players Association has been upset about for the past 2 years, and that's free agents not being signed.
Yeah.
That's older free agents not being signed. Maybe not at all, or maybe not until about when the season starts, and the players are like, "All right,
yeah,
I'll drop the price and I'll sign what you want me to sign." Keuchel was a good example of that. Craig Kimbrell was another good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just found the quote. He apparently just had a presser this morning. He said, "I called around to clubs to explore the possibility of potential off-season trades. At no time during any of these calls was there discussion of individual free agents or the Braves' intentions with respect to the free agent market. To the extent I indicated otherwise during my media availability on Monday, I misspoke and apologize for any confusion." So obviously he's going to have a defense. That was his.
Yeah, which, who knows what is true and what's not.
It comes down to the fact that the Players Association has been upset for now 2.5 years.
Yeah.
About the players not getting what they deserve.
Yeah.
And that's understandable.
It makes sense. And, there's worry about, the MLB might not even be playing in 2 years. I don't know if that will happen. There's worry about that in all leagues. The NHL could be locked out in 2 seasons. The NBA, there's talk about that, and in the MLB, there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of, no matter what professional sport it is, there's always between the owners and the players, or just the league and the players, they're always butting heads. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's not uncommon, but it is something that does need to be fixed because, there can't be a season without MLB baseball. That's just not going to help the league, obviously. Yeah. So
Tony Clark is a great union chief for the Players Association, but he's a dog that with all bark and no bite.
Yeah,
and
I would agree.
Players, it's turning to the point where GMs want younger players, and there's not really much you can do. You can probably make a couple of rules like the NFL has with they have to interview coaches, minority coaches, for new head coaching spots. That's a rule, right? I'm not too versed on the NFL.
Honestly, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that is because I've heard about it before.
We're
but
baseball guys.
they might, yeah, we are baseball guys, but they might start forcing GMs to sit down with older veteran type free agents and giving them a chance to sign.
Yeah.
But other than that,
But you can't force them to.
you can't force them to sign
them. So
you can force maybe an interview,
yeah.
but the asking price might be too high, or there just might be no interest in an older guy. That's what the game is going right now. The young talent in the game right now, amazing. The young players
it's
are
unreal.
They're ecstatic. It's full of full of young
it hasn't
players.
been like this in like a while. So
Besides maybe Howie Kendrick,
yeah, I mean, that guy. I mean, that guy's
but
a
Juan
stud.
Soto, Gleyber Torres,
Gleyber
Acuna.
Torres,
Even we're talking about the Silver Sluggers in a
Albies.
second.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Bellinger's pretty young too. Trout's not old.
He's 28, but I mean that's still
He's
like,
still like
most of the free agents
Yeah.
are over 30
yeah.
that aren't getting signed.
So you just mentioned moving on, Silver Sluggers.
The list
Rendon.
has come out.
Rendon.
Made it to third.
Rendon, you won a Silver Slugger award.
Let me get your reaction. So let's go to AL first. We have Mitch Garver from the Twins at catcher. He's a solid guy.
Yeah, it's not bad. I guess.
Santana from the Indians, first base.
Love that.
LeMahieu, second base.
That's cool.
Yankees. Bregman, your favorite.
Four.
Four.
Put up the 4.
Bogarts, shortstop. Trout, outfield. Springer, outfield. Mookie Betts, outfield. And Nelson Cruz, DH. Man, they really don't like the DH. People hate the DH
People hate
spot
the
on
DH
Twitter.
spot,
The MLB Twitter is furious whenever DH is brought up.
Yeah, I think there's. Honestly, I think they did a good job. I think all those guys are well deserved.
All right, really
Silver
quick.
Slugger's always something that's not really controversial.
Yeah, really quick. Real Muto, catcher. Freeman, first base. Albie, second base. Rendon, third base. Story, Trevor Story, shortstop. Bellinger, outfield. Yelich, outfielder. Good for him after that injury.
Yeah.
Acuna, outfield. And Greinke, pitcher. The trifecta at the Braves. You like that? Hate that? With Freeman, Albies, and Acuna. They're all
that.
really good. You hate that, obviously,
that.
but they're all amazing.
They're all very good.
And even quicker. Winter meetings. One thing that you want to see.
30 days. Put me on the spot here.
It could be anything. Rendon being signed back to the Nationals.
Yeah.
Because they can do that in winter meetings. They can't do that now.
Strasburg going back. Rendon. Just basically no one signing with the Phillies. That's what I want to see.
I want to see Garrett
one's signing
Cole
with
at
the Phillies.
least with Brian Cashman. He doesn't have to say anything.
Just
want
meet with them?
I just want to see a photo of them together. All right.
All right. Well, this is I don't know.
That was a pretty good one.
That was a good one. Is this our last bull pick segment
I
ever?
guess-
I don't know. You're just gonna have to keep watching.
I have to take out
and
Logan
find
next
out.
week to
Yeah.
get to next week.
You're just gonna have to keep watching. Logan and Reed are gonna be back talking some college football. Big college football weekend. LSU, Alabama, huge.
Go Tigers.
Minnesota, go Golden Gophers. All right. We'll be back shortly with some college football.
Welcome back into one-on-one Reed Spencer, Logan Mosier. Thanks to Jason and Barrett. I can answer their question. That will not be the last bullpen
I was about to
segment.
say we don't have to make any kind of statements about going after people. You guys can come back on. Great baseball segment.
But no, you should watch your back. But no, Jason's not going out like that.
No.
We've only got a few more weeks left to Jason. That will not be the last. And it doesn't even have to be about baseball, but that will not be the last time Jason Colicchio is on this set.
Absolutely not.
Making executive decisions here. Okay. We're going to get to the Big 12 games. LSU Alabama is going to be our last game that we're going to talk about. 2:30? That needs to be a... Why is Bama LSU the most decorated college football game you can get? It doesn't get better than this. 2:30? That's when people take naps.
Yeah.
That's the prime time nap between the 11 o'clock games and the 6 o'clock
Maybe that was
games.
in the memo. Maybe it was like 2:30 primetime naps, and the guy at CBS just read primetime.
For the life of me, I cannot figure out why they would have that game at 2:30.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
0 sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. You gotta pull some strings. You gotta. It does. It's really unfortunate. I guess it's not
Brutal.
unfortunate because like the game's gonna go on anyway. But this needs to be the night game.
Absolutely. That is a sham. Big 12 games.
What is that? Let me see what's taking that spot on CBS real quick.
They probably just don't even have a night
they
game
don't.
on CBS this week.
Your primetime games are looks like you got Missouri, Georgia at 6.
Oh, boy.
Clemson, NC State at 6:30.
Oh, 4-4 NC State team.
Notre Dame, Duke at 6:30. But that's only on the ACC network. So, and then on Fox you got Iowa State, Oklahoma, and then at 9:15 Wyoming, Boise State. Those are your night games. So.
This is an
Interesting slate.
Well,
I would have flexed maybe that. Anything else?
yeah,
I would've-
just
any of
cancel all
those,
the other college
Just
football
get them out of
games.
there. Yeah.
Okay, run through these Big 12 games really quick.
All right.
Logan, number 12, Baylor at rival TCU. TCU 4-4, Baylor still 8-0.
Man, if Max Duggan plays like he did last week, Baylor will win by 50.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Baylor, but I think it'll be close.
I do too. Vegas does as well. 2.5 points is Baylor's favored by 2.5. So I'll take Baylor by a touchdown though.
This game in Morgantown, Texas Tech 3-5, the only Big 12 win of the year. You guessed it, against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, taking on the 3-5 West Virginia Mountaineers. Texas Tech. This game is in Morgantown again. Texas Tech favored by 2.5.
I'm gonna go with West Virginia. I think they're a lot better than we both thought at the beginning of the year. They're playing in their hometown. Morgantown's a crazy place. Weather's supposed to be decent, so that's not going to help them too much. But I'm going to take West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm going to take West Virginia too. Again, they almost went to Waco and won.
Yep.
That's a game that you've got to have your eyes on if you're the Cowboys. It could be a tough one. How Texas Tech's favored, I don't really know, but I'm going to take West Virginia in that, and Austin Kendall in that one as well. Number 16, Kansas State heads down to Austin to take on the unranked Texas
they
Longhorns.
are
back to being unranked.
Back to being unranked. You love to see it. Back to being 3-2 in the Big 12.
But what's crazy is Texas is a 7-point favorite.
That's wild.
They have no defense.
Yeah.
And Skylar Thompson doesn't light you up with his arms, but they ran all over OU.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Kansas State in this game.
This is tough for me because there is certainly a way Kansas State wins this football game, but I just don't know if the injuries matter that much for Texas because all the injuries are in the secondary, and I don't know how healthy Malik Knowles is right now, so I'm gonna go Texas. I hate to say it. I don't think they're gonna win by 7 though. I think this is a close game.
Yeah.
But I think Texas is sick of losing, sick of looking like they're the fools, as they always are every year when they're back. I think they're going to win this game.
Back to being unranked, Texas. I just think Kansas.
You do love to see it.
I think Kansas State just goes down there and runs the ball, and the over-under is 56. I think it's like a 27-20 type of win for Kansas State. Not big scoring by Big 12 standards. Iowa State, who the Cowboys beat 2 weeks ago. Kansas State beat OU 2 weeks ago. Both teams had a bye, did Oklahoma and Iowa State. The Sooners are ranked in 9th, 7-1. Iowa State unranked at 5-3. A lot of people, including me, thought this would be could be a matchup in Arlington.
Same.
I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Nope.
But OU is 15-point favorites, and they're ticked. I'm sorry for what's going to happen to Iowa State tomorrow. I'm
too.
legitimately sorry to
Kansas
Iowa State.
State ruined it for everybody. Kansas State ruined it for Iowa State. They ruined it for Oklahoma State. They ruined it for Baylor. They ruined it for TCU.
Yeah, and the Sooners reportedly had a meeting on the tarmac.
You know that's so bad. Like when they can't even get home to have their I'm pissed, let's crush everybody meeting.
No, it's just on the plane.
Yeah, like before the plane.
The flight attendants were picking up the trash, and it was, no, T.O., we're having a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
No, that is...
Thoughts and prayers with the Cyclones tomorrow. What Lincoln Riley's going to do to them. Now,
how many yards does CeeDee Lamb have?
250. And this is not that Iowa State's a bad football team.
No.
But OU has had 2 weeks to sit on this loss. 2 weeks of disrespect from the national media. I'm sorry. Penn State at number 17, Minnesota. This top 25 matchup of undefeated teams, as you guessed it, at 11 o'clock.
Undefeated teams. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, by definition, they are undefeated, but Minnesota.
Yeah, you are putting in facts in air quotes, might I add.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It's like, yeah, Minnesota.
Woo. Yeah.
It's like, all right, they're 6.5 point dogs at home.
That's probably too low. Fair? I don't know. Penn State's going to go in there and win this
yeah,
easy.
let's use the air quotes for top 4 team Penn State.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Unbelievable. Penn State's going to wipe the floor with Minnesota.
Do you think they move up in the rankings after that?
Probably, but they still have to play Ohio State, so the truth will come out about the Nittany Lions. But, man.
Who do they drop? The loser of Bama LSU?
It honestly might just, if Alabama wins, they might move up to 3. And I think that they'll keep both teams in the top 4 unless a blowout happens.
Yeah.
If a blowout happens, one will slip. But that's just this is a good Big Ten game. You wake up, it's 11 o'clock Saturday. Penn State blows them out of the water.
Yeah, I agree.
PJ Fleck can row back to the bank.
Good for PJ Fleck. I am not going to discourage or say anything bad about that guy getting his money, but fans are going to be pretty upset when they finish the season 8-4.
They might. I say they're probably 9-3. They do have a tough stretch. One of the better games going on in the afternoon, but probably not a lot of people will be watching. It's 18 Iowa against number 13 Wisconsin. It's 3 o'clock kick. It's on Fox. It's in Camp Randall. Wisconsin favored by 9. I like Kirk Ferentz and Iowa. They're a pretty consistent football team. They don't beat themselves a lot, but I think Jonathan Taylor in Wisconsin is just too much, and not Jack Cohen. It'll be Jonathan Taylor. That's going to run all over Iowa.
No, I agree. Not 100 yards against Ohio State. He's going to look back to get to that century mark against Iowa. Both these teams have really good defenses, and if you take Jonathan Taylor away, they both have pretty subpar offenses. So I think this game's going to be pretty close. I will take Wisconsin to win it close, but I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be the ultimate factor in this.
All right, now it's time. It is time.
For 2:30?
For a 2:30 kick. Yeah, 23 hours
time?
from right now. We'll be halfway through the Alabama game.
That's nuts.
That hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's infuriating. But it is number 2, number 3. It's a great environment. President Trump's reportedly supposed to be in Tuscaloosa for this game.
I heard there were no protests allowed.
Yeah, I think the Student Government Association warned them you'll have your seats taken away. But with that being said, they're still going to play football. Yes. Alabama are favored by 6 points. Our fearless leader, Dr. Craig Freeman, an LSU grad.
Yes.
Tomorrow's a big day for him. But luckily it'll be over by 6, so he can still enjoy his evening.
Or have more time to
sulk.
It
might just be a more extended sad day for him. But Tua's playing. And this is a different game than we've seen a lot in the past between Alabama and LSU. It's been a lot of downhill running, power football.
Yep.
Now you got Joe Burrow and this LSU offense who's lighting it up. It's like the Big 12 out there in the SEC. And Alabama can certainly do it with Jerry Jeudy and Tua Tagovailoa.
Yes, absolutely. Biggest stat for me, I think, because this is the best LSU team. I'm trying to think. I don't want to say ever because LSU's had some really good teams, but this is for sure the best offense they've ever had. I think Joe Burrow already has the record for most touchdowns in a season for an LSU quarterback with 30. It's either 30 or 35. But Coach O is 0-8 against Nick Saban in Alabama. Alabama is going to win this football game. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a really great football game. It's more deserving to be at 6 o'clock than at 2:30. But ultimately, I think Alabama's going to win this one, and I would hate to see LSU drop any lower than 3. I wouldn't mind if they stayed at 2. Alabama jumped everybody to 1. It depends on what Ohio State does this weekend as well. If they play Maryland, doubt they're going to lose to Maryland again. But I feel bad for Coach O because he just can't get over this hump.
Yeah.
And it's going to stick with him. It's going to hurt I don't think it's going to hurt their chances in the playoff, but it's going to hurt their chance to get a good seed in the playoff.
I'm going to take Alabama to win this game, much like you are. And it burned me earlier in the year when I said, am I taking Tom Herman or Ed Orgeron? I'll take Tom Herman. Well, this is a little different.
This is real.
This guy wins national championships. Yeah. LSU has made incredible improvements offensively, and I have to give all the credit in the world for Ed Orgeron to look at this and say, this isn't working. If we want to keep up, we got to do something different. And bringing in Joe Burrow, phenomenal job. But in Tuscaloosa, God, I just noticed what you said. Nick Saban, he wins national championships. It's in Tuscaloosa. Tua's playing. I think it'll be back and forth. Mm-hmm. But Alabama's going to do something late in the second half to win this game and show why Nick Saban is Nick Saban. So roll tide from both of us. We'll break that on Monday. Thanks again to Jason and Bear for doing the bullpen.
Yes, they will be back.
Jason will be back for summer. So we'll take a break for the weekend. We will be back on Monday, of course, to talk about everything going on in professional sports and Oklahoma State athletics. Thanks again for watching One on One. We'll see you on Monday.